I said, God, help me do this pregnancy. I prayed for 2 months. I'm like, Lord, help me. I need this baby to come out. You know that I can't carry this burden.
Yeah.
It's just too much. They told me there is a man who can come and do it. And I called him home. And I thought it was done. I paid him, he left. So I knew, I was guilty. I was all these things. But I'm thinking, this is for me. I can't carry all this. It's too much.
Yeah.
We don't actually see beyond our small problem. And sometimes you don't want to tell anything to anyone.
Yeah.
You just want to do it quietly and get rid of it and handle it.
Yeah.
Your pain for today is your victory for tomorrow. Everyone has their problems. Everyone has challenges they are going through.
Yeah.
You're looking at yours and you think the world is so concerned about your little problems.
Yeah.
People have bigger issues.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the circumstances and you know, I'm not safe.
Yeah.
And when the results came out, the doctors actually didn't give them to me. They called me. They said they need to talk to me. And they broke the news to me, you have HIV. I knew exactly where it was coming from. So I never actually went back. But the Lord told me something. He said, I want to heal you, but I need you to forgive. Me, I'm the one to forgive. Someone who has infected me. So that is when I went into inner healing.
Yeah.
And no one is going to do it for me because I've trusted men, they've failed. I've trusted the husband, we've failed. I've tried to trust people, friends, we've failed. So I'm here and it's me and me alone.
Yeah.
Then I prayed. I prayed. I didn't have anything to do, but I prayed.
Yeah.
And I fasted, not because I wanted to fast, there was no food.
I need to give you a caution before we go further. That this episode is not like any other episode we've done. We are having a special guest who is going to just take us through her life. Yeah, there are so many facets to her life. Personally, I'm so amazed at so much that God has done in her life, so much that God has used her to speak to young people, to speak to women, men, and it is just so much. You get to know more about her, and some of you already know her from social media. She uses her pages to share everything about her life. And today, I just want to have a sit down with her and hear why she does that. What are some of the biggest inspirations she has had in her life? What are some of the lessons and sometimes the regrets that she has learned, so that you who is younger, you'd be well placed to make informed decisions at any one point in your life. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Hope Kemigisha. How are you, Hope?
I'm blessed. I'm doing very well.
You're so welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I don't take it lightly.
I know. Personally, I don't take it lightly. I have to first make a confession to the people. I have started wanting to host Hope since December last year. She was among the first people I wanted to host first, but it was just not the right timing, I think, for both of us to sit. Right now, we are both well placed to have a conversation. You will know why I'm talking about this, yeah? So please brace yourselves, prepare your heart to learn, okay? So Hope, thank you. Thank you so much for making it today. I'm so honored.
I had to.
I'm so honored. Okay?
You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And for me to be able to pour out so that someone out there is blessed, is the reason why I'm here.
I'm very humbled.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So is Hope. Briefly tell us.
Hope Kemigisha is, let me say, an addict. I love Christ.
Yes.
I'm addicted to the word.
Yeah.
I'm a daughter of a reverend.
Yeah.
Last born of 10.
Yeah.
I am married and I have 4 children.
Yeah.
And another big extended family. Adopted. Plus an orphanage.
Yeah.
I do ministry.
Yeah.
And I also run an NGO, Pillars of Hope International.
Yeah.
I also have a fashion line.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Yes, that is all I could say in a nutshell.
Wow, that's quite rich, . And I'll just go straight into the conversation.
Please.
one of the things that made me so interested in you was how you pour out your life on social media. I've gone through your pages. You post things that people would actually not want to talk about. Things that sometimes are shameful experiences that are sometimes regrettable. And one of the notable one that I actually want us to start with is when you talked about how you tried abortion and it failed. You tried aborting your baby and it failed. And at this point you are celebrating her and everything. I want you to take us through how that decision was informed, what happened at that point, and why you feel at that point you were doing it, and what are the lessons learned. Generally, let's start from there.
I was at a point where I was already married.
Yeah.
I got married very young, after university.
Yeah.
The pressure is on, get married. So
Yeah.
I ran into marriage, and this is my last baby, the fourth one.
Yeah.
But at that time, like we may talk about it, my fourth baby, by the time I conceived her, I had acquired HIV.
Yeah.
And this is HIV I acquired on my marital bed. Not that I was cheating or sleeping around. So I had this mentality, HIV is for people who are Malayas sleeping around, but I had it.
Yeah.
So I get this pregnancy and I'm like, how am I going to give birth to this baby? She's going to come out sick. I have all these pressures. I was going through abject poverty.
Yeah.
There is no love in the relationship. I'm the one buying the food, paying the rent. I would be evicted from house to house almost every month.
Yeah.
It was a very, very tough time.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I am pregnant.
Yeah.
So I just said, you know what? I actually prayed.
Yeah.
I said, God, help me do this pregnancy. I prayed for 2 months. So I didn't carry it out just like that. I prayed. I said, Lord, help me. Can you imagine the prayers we make?
I know.
I'm like, Lord, help me. I need this baby to come out. You know that I can't carry this burden.
Yeah.
It's just too much. So I called, of course, I was broke, I was poor, but then I managed to get money. You know how we can get money when we need something.
Yes.
So I consulted, I didn't know about abortions, and they told me there is a man who can come and do it. And I called him home. Apparently, he was the best. So he came home and carried out whatever he had to do. And there was a lot of blood for like 1-2 days. And I thought it was done. I paid him, he left. So I knew, I was guilty. I was all these things, but I'm thinking this is for me. I can't carry all this. It's too much. I was at a point, either it's suicide or abortion. And 2 months down the road, 3, I'm just bulging. I'm like, what is going on? Of course, as a mother, you know that you're pregnant. So I went to check for antenatal and they told me I'm carrying a baby girl. So that is when it really hit me. And now I went back to God to say, if this baby didn't come out, it's you. Please help me. I don't want to produce a child who has lost limbs. Because I thought this blood that came out probably had plucked out the limbs, or maybe some of the parts are missing. And I said, okay, I'm going to be punished for this. And that was a tough time. So again, I went back to God now. Remember, I prayed in the first place for him to help me. Probably the prayer is what was shielding this pregnancy. Thinking I'm praying that it will come out. And then the baby was in there, and so I got through all this time. The Holy Spirit comforted me. I embraced the pregnancy. I actually bought a few nice clothes, and I was happy. And that is the first baby that I actually got a baby shower. That one that I tried to abort. And today the girl is big, she's vibrant, energetic. She has never fallen sick, never got anything. She doesn't even get a headache. The kid is so beautiful. Every time I look at her, I'm like, this is God. So I called her Gabriela. Yes.
What are some of the lessons you learned in that experience?
You can't make permanent decisions for temporary situations. It was a temporary situation. But sometimes when we are in that pit, we don't think there is light. We don't actually see beyond our small problem. And sometimes we don't have the right friends around us
Yeah.
to encourage you, to tell you. And sometimes you don't want to tell anything to anyone.
Yeah.
You just want to do it quietly and get rid of it and handle it
Yeah.
because of the shame. But I learned something. Your pain for today is your victory for tomorrow. Today I may be here sharing to encourage somebody. That's a journey.
Yeah.
That is something that I can talk about and encourage people, that you cannot just make decisions out of pain or just because of a little circumstance. God has the ability to get us out of any situation. And here I am.
Yeah.
I would be regretting because now I can feed her, I can give her anything I want.
Yeah.
And she's such a beauty and a lot of joy at this time. But then,
it was a burden.
I had no picture of today.
Yeah. And it's so common. Many people make decisions based on what they're going through.
Shame.
Yeah.
Especially those who are not married. For me, I was married. It's okay to be pregnant.
Yeah.
But there are other people who are getting pregnant and they're not married. So you want to cover the shame. But who even cares about you?
Yeah.
Everyone has their problems. Everyone has challenges they are going through.
Yeah.
You're looking at yours and you think the world is so concerned about your little problems.
Yeah.
People have bigger issues.
Yeah.
So if we can look at these things and find stories like these and look out for talk shows like your talk show and realize that what you're going through, you're not the first.
You're not.
You may see someone cruising, laughing. You don't know how many babies she has murdered.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so true. You mentioned something, and I don't know if you're comfortable us going there. You mentioned the fact that at that point you had actually acquired HIV from your marital bed.
Yes.
Do you mind taking us through that briefly?
I didn't, as a Christian, I was really praying, and up to now I pray. The Lord kept giving me visions of how my ex-husband was sleeping around. He kept showing me different offices. Every office there is a woman. Yeah. But because we are raised as African traditional ladies to stick through thin and thick, I thought God was telling me to pray that spirit of lust is broken. So 1 year down the road, and all the signs were there. Because I could see some of these things that were happening to my partner. But, he kept concealing it, telling me, I have chronic ulcers. I went and checked and they told me I have chronic ulcers, but he knew. Yeah. So I was just the gullible, naive woman, and I stayed in there. And how did I get to know I had HIV? That's when I was giving birth to my third baby. Yeah. So I go to hospital, of which I could not even afford antenatal care. It's a neighbor, she's called Irene, who saw me and said, how old is the pregnancy? I said, I don't know. She said, what do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know, I've never checked, I've never gone for antenatal. So she took me to Independent Hospital, my friend Irene, and we went for but in my heart of hearts, I knew something is wrong. Yeah. I knew this test, something is wrong. Yeah. You can see the circumstances and I'm not safe. Yeah. And when the results came out, the doctors actually didn't give them to me. They called me, they said they need to talk to me, and they broke the news to me, you have HIV. Now, on that issue, I would tell you that I'm not the person who would sleep around. Yeah. This is going to be on air. If there is any man who can say I slept with me, there is none. Yeah. So I knew that I knew exactly where it was coming from. Yeah. And so that alone was a battle. Yeah. The rage. A girl after university who meets a man and you think you're going to create your whole life with this person. Yeah. You give your all to this marriage. Yeah. You pray, you literally think, okay, I've left my parents, this is it. Yeah. And all you get is HIV. Something that you thought was so far away from you. Yeah. So I didn't say anything. I left the hospital. I went home. I was just quiet for 3 days. I didn't say a word. Yeah. And I only sent him a message. I said, thank you for paying me with HIV. So he knew that I knew. Yeah. But when he came home, he was just following me everywhere. I think he thought I might murder him or kill him because I didn't fight, I didn't argue, I didn't quarrel. I just kept quiet.
Sent a message.
I just sent a message. I said, thank you for paying me with HIV. So even if I went to the kitchen, he would follow me. I think he was thinking, what's going on with her? In her mind, what is she thinking? So of course, later I had to leave. It was too much for me. I went and stayed with my brother. And that's how I got the disease. And by the time I was trying to abort this other baby, now you can imagine I already had that disease. So that was my background. It's a failed marriage. There's really nothing I'm getting here. And on top of that, I have this disease and things are just getting worse.
You're thinking the baby could actually be born with it?
Yes, that is. So I opted for C-section for both my babies. The boy, the third one, and this other one that I tried to abort. But they're all healthy right now, and they're very much okay. So I resorted to God. There was no any other way. And I remember I said in my head, HIV cannot sit in my body. I did not go fishing for it. I did not earn it. It is not going to sit in this body. And when I went for the second antenatal in another hospital, when the doctor was telling me, you're going to have to take these pills, I said, no, this disease is not going to sit in this body. I will not allow it. My faith, I said I cannot carry it. I have Christ here. It's not going to sit in a sick body. So that was my confession from day one. For me, I never accepted the report. I knew I had it. But I never sat and cried. Actually, my friends would try to come and console me and comfort me. I ended up consoling them. I refused it there and then. And that's what the Bible says, as the man thinketh, so is he. I knew that I cannot carry this disease. And here I am.
How has it
since
then?
Very healthy.
Yes. How has it been since that time till now?
So, of course, I left the marriage. I had to breathe. I needed space to think. I needed to discover who I am, who I was. Actually, that thing shook me up. Like, wake up. Hope, wake up. You're going down the drain. Can't you see? You used to be the vibrant, the smart. Your father had a lot of hope in you. He paid tuition and school fees for you. He would tell you you'd be great. Do you see that every day you're going down the drain? So that time that I separated was time for me to think. It was time for me to focus on me. Even though I was pregnant and all these things. So I never actually went back. But the Lord told me something. And I heard it so loudly. He said, I want to heal you, but I need you to forgive. I was like, what? Me, I'm the one to forgive. Someone who has infected me, who has not even come to ask for forgiveness. He said, yes.
Many times
I want to heal.
Many times people want to forgive somebody who has asked for forgiveness.
And asked many times.
Not
just once. HIV, not once. But imagine this one did. Of course, he was trying to, say, okay, come back home. Let's do this. Let's do this. But the Lord clearly instructed me to forgive. He said, I want to heal you, Hope. But I need you to forgive. So I went into prayer, read the Psalms. Then I came back. I said, Lord, I've forgiven. He said, no, you haven't. You still have pain when you talk about him. You have pain in you, rage. I want all of it out. When you talk about him, I want you to even laugh and be free. You're not yet free. So I cannot heal. I need all of it out. I remember that time I said, this God is unfair. I've never seen a God who is unfair like this one. I'm the one infected. I'm the one to heal, who has to forgive. I'm the one who prays to you. So at one point I said, God is really not fair. But God is so fair and he keeps his word. So that is when I went into inner healing. I started working on myself. I read a lot of books. And when I forgave him, then I went back That's how I got pregnant again with this last baby that I tried to abort.
Yes.
I went back into the marriage.
Yeah.
He lured me, he got a better place, said, now I've changed. I believed him. And I thought, you know what could be the worst that can happen to a couple? Maybe this man has been shaken, by what he has done.
Yeah.
Now he's remorseful. He will not do it again. This is what had to happen to us for us to,
come
back on a fresh page and live a good marriage. So I believed him. I came back.
Yeah.
I came back, we prayed, went to church together for like 2 months. He would buy all the food. We were happy. I was thinking, okay, we will pray together and get healed. This HIV will be out because I believe in healing.
Yeah.
And we'll be a good family, raise our kids. Little did I know it was getting worse. So now it actually got worse and worse. All the time I carried this last baby that I tried to abort, I was just at home praying every day. That's when I prayed, Lord, give me direction. Because now he was deliberately spreading the HIV to people, infecting women, especially single mothers. Deliberately doing it. He no longer cared about anybody. I think in him, he was like, why am I the one carrying this alone? So any woman that came to him that played nice, he infected women.
Yeah. Women.
So that's when and they would come to me. These women would come to me. They would look for me. They would come to me and say, Vananga, Hope, this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Many of his mistresses came to me and I would cancel them, even up to now. Many that realized they had the HIV and all this went on from different countries. Yeah. They come to me and I cancel them. Yeah. I tell them, you can get healed. I know where you are. Yeah. This is what happened. You fell into the trap of somebody and just forgive him and try to do this and this and this. But at that point is when I woke up. I went into a prayer for 3 months. I said, God, if this marriage is not to be, take me out amicably. I don't want us to fight. I don't want to cause a sin. Do it amicably. 3 months I was praying and God did it. People think God, he did it very well because every house we rented, we didn't even take a week. They chased us.
Why?
And guess he would not pay. There were so many issues that I'm not even going to talk about. A lot of things. Yeah. Like taking this money from women, doing these things, funny deals. Yeah. So he would get a house, he doesn't pay, he just talks to them, and then 2 weeks they chase us out. But what was peculiar is the landlords, the women would come to me and say, young lady, you're such a beautiful woman. Your future is bright. Why don't you go and find a life for yourself? Your man, we've talked to him. These are old women, mature, in their 50s. And you would get nice homes. I'm not talking of nice big homes. So that's when I said, but all these women are telling me the same thing. Why don't I do something? So house number 1, house number 2, house number 3, house number 4. All of them in 2 weeks, they would chase us out. As in throw the things out. So that's when he could no longer put us in any home. Yeah. And I knew that God is separating us. For him, he didn't know. But me, that's the prayer I was praying. Yeah. Let it look like we cannot be together. Just separate us. And he did it. He could no longer put me anywhere. So he said, is there anywhere you can go? I said, yeah, there is. In my head, I knew, this is a done deal. Yeah. This is the last time you see me. So I divorced him 2 years before I even divorced
him officially.
Yeah. In my heart, I had already divorced. And many women do it.
Yeah.
Many women will sit and divorce you when you don't know. So for me, this was just following the sign saying it's now over. Yeah. And that is when I carried my children and went to stay in one of the dirtiest slum places I've ever been in. Because I had nowhere to go.
Yeah. And you made up your mind to raise the children.
I said I will swallow the shame. This time around, I'm not going to my brothers. I'm not going to burden anyone. I'm going to carry this cross. Yeah. And I'm going to rise above all the challenges. Yeah. Because I prayed, I saw the Lord guide me. I knew he would heal me. But I knew that, okay, life would change. For example, I was staying in a house where my children were sharing a pit latrine with drunkards. They would go on the pit latrine and touch down. You find them touching it was so filthy. We were fetching water from a swamp like this and then drain it. It was too much. We would feed on 1,000 shillings, the whole family. It was quite a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
But that is where my turning point happened. In that little, dirty, small place.
Yes.
There was my turning point.
And we shall go to that. We shall go to the
Yes.
turning point. Yes. What was that point where your life turned around?
You see, when you've not reached a level of surrender, nothing can happen to you. When you're still holding on to this ring, it's sweet, it's nice, the title. When you're still holding on to, I stay in Naguru, I stay here, trying to put all this facet, trying to show that it's all okay.
Yeah.
Yet inside you're breaking, you're not doing anything. You're not going to heal.
Yeah.
So I accepted my life. I said, Hope, you are a daughter of a reverend, you have divorced. It is okay, no one will murder you. 2, you have HIV. It is okay, you already have it. 3, you have 4 children. You have no job. You don't have any asset. Because I left his house with only my radio. Because I love worship. My radio.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the children's clothes.
Yeah.
Then we bought one mattress. So we would put it there and sleep. Put our heads
And sleep.
and the feet are down.
Yeah.
Then someone gave me a mosquito net which had holes. So I had to tie the holes so the mosquitoes don't go through.
Yeah.
Then I bought a saucepan. Yeah, and then we slept in that house. That room, it was cement. But you know where I was staying before? In Munyonyo, in Naguru. Those landladies, one is the wife of the vice president. Those are the homes we were in. Driving Pajeros, Makex. But it was all a lie. It was all a lie. So I went into that little house and I said, now, I was first bitter with God. I said, those that love you, this is how you pay them. The more I love you, the more I pray, I worship, the more you're showing me that you're taking me down the ditch. And on top of that, I had 50 orphans. I was educating, feeding on a daily.
Oh.
Do you know the orphans ran away from me because of poverty? The children I was feeding, I was raising.
When you were still in the other...
Yes, in the other seemingly nice life. They came and saw where I was staying. They said, Auntie, Mommy, you know what? We'll see you. They left. So in that place, I said, like Hezekiah, I have to turn to the wall. I'm going to have to face this battle.
Yeah.
And no one is going to do it for me because I've trusted men, they've failed. I've trusted the husband, we've failed. I've tried to trust people, friends, we've failed. So I'm here and it's me and me alone.
Yeah.
Then I prayed. I prayed. I didn't have anything to do, but I prayed.
Yeah.
And I fasted, not because I wanted to fast, there was no food. I prayed 1 month. I remember the Lord telling me, Hope, I had to get everything that had piled in you and pour it out. I had to okukunkumula everything out of you. The pride, the arrogance, the shame, you fear shame. You know, I had to show you and remove everything out of you, make you empty, so that I put you down and now I start filling you with me.
And you know it is God.
I start filling you with what I want. I start filling you with what resonates with who I am. And he did it. Because I reached a level whereby okuswala, I could no longer okuswala, even up to today. I don't feel embarrassed. I got embarrassed all my life. There is nothing else.
Yeah.
Even if I walk naked, I got embarrassed. Do you know what it means? Getting your things and throwing them out, and neighbors climb, hey, like on a daily, every month, you go through that. One time that Gabriela that I wanted to abort, they arrested me in hospital because he couldn't pay the bill. You've been cut, C-section. You are eating hospital food, they stop it. They say you've not paid the bill. They hold you there 2 days. You are on C-section, you are in a hospital. Alone. I just reached a level where sijaswala.
Yeah.
And that is the time I said, now it is come mbaya. I know God works.
Yeah.
I've seen him work. I'm going to get this God and get a hold of him. I'll not let go. And that is the time I prayed and prayed. We started with 1,000. I would buy in Tula and maybe kawunga, quarter.
Yeah.
Then boil, just give the children. That Gabriela baby was raised on mukalu, black tea with no sugar, but the way she would drink it.
Looked like formula.
The way she would, I've never seen a kid like that.
Yeah.
She would drink black tea with no sugar. Then we reached a level where I can now afford sugar. So when I separated and went into that house, this last baby was now 2 weeks. When they chased us from the last house, and I came to this tiny house where I was
By the
staying
time you gave birth, you had already left.
No, when I gave birth, I was with him.
Yeah.
But when I came back home that very day, they chased us out of the house.
Yeah.
So we are looking for a truck where to put things, and I have a baby, and I'm C-section.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, you can go to your parents, your sisters, until we figure it out.
Yeah.
So I had Gabriela, and the boy was also 1 year, so they were all like babies.
Yeah.
So that's when I prayed. And when the Lord told me I'm pouring everything out, one thing I remember is after 3 months, do you know that it's in that time that I met a man who sent me close to 1 billion Uganda shillings.
Sure. Take us away.
On the 3rd month, while I was there praying, I was not sleeping because I'm smart. I can do proposals. I can do all these things. I was online. So after my prayers, I would go and pray at Miracle Center. That's when there were 77 dogs. I prayed every night. And then I would come back at 3 in the morning, sleep, take mukalu and sleep. And then wake up and work. So God, I don't know. God is a strategist. God is a strategist. There is a certain preacher who came to Uganda, and while he was preaching, I was in church. I heard the voice tell me, look for that man. So I looked for him. I tried to look for him on internet. I didn't know his name. I didn't get it when he said it. And good enough, someone posted him and said, oh, Pastor so-and-so is going back to America. So I got the name. So I looked for him. I sent him a message. He responded. And then we started talking. I was like, oh, Uganda. I was in Uganda. It was beautiful. I said, yeah, can I interest you in farming? Can you do business in Uganda? I said, yeah. I was actually thinking about doing business in Uganda. I said, okay. So you can do farming, you can do the crops, you can do this, you can rear cows and fatten. I gave him all the options.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, how does that work? Hey, I started running, looking, doing research.
Yeah.
I went to Rufula to see where they get the cows from. I went to Jinja to study, and I had all the information that I needed. So I did a proposal and sent it to him. I was doing all that in that little house. And God said, I want to show you, I want to pour out everything. Then I can start working. No one will claim my glory. I want to lift you, I alone, with my hand. And people will know that Katonda, Yasitula, this woman. Nobody else did it. I don't want anyone to claim this glory. And to die cannot. It is him.
Yeah.
It is him.
Well, Hope, I mean, hearing you, it shows limitless possibilities in God.
Oh.
Could you just encourage somebody who is going through that? Because your turnaround was just 3 months. There could be somebody whose turnaround has taken Yes.
And yes, it
And
is.
you don't want them to feel like now, mine is a dead end.
Let me tell you, there is nothing that is. One thing I've realized is where I'm at, it's because of my laziness. I would actually be very, very far.
Yeah.
My lack of commitment. I get the word, I don't do the word. And that is the problem and the challenge we have with us Christians. We'll go and be hyped and pray, you go home, you forget it. But faith without action is dead.
Actually, the issue there is usually the application.
That's the works, the application. So imagine if I did not get that man, look for him, send him a request. If I didn't put in the proposal, if I didn't even have the knowledge, people don't want to get skills. If I didn't sit and do all the research and then type the proposal, work on it, send, he rejects, I send. He says, do you know what it means explaining to Mzungu how grass, what a cow eats, salt? It was hectic. I typed, my hands got tired. But I knew God told me
to follow that.
And that is through the hard work. That is how the money came in.
Yeah.
Even for me to get married again, because I did. After that place, I left it, I got another place, and now I started working out in the gym. I would read a book every night. Because now I needed to put my mind somewhere else. I said, you know what? You may have started here in the gutters, in the pits, but you can actually lift yourself to a realm or a level that I was seeing in my head.
Yeah.
So every night I read a book. Be it dating, I read those books. Be it fashion, I read them. Etiquette, I read it. How to attract, how to think big, I read them. Project management, business, I read. All the sorts of books I had to do to package myself to be the woman with 4 children to get
married again.
Get married again.
Now, Hope, this story is quite long, and I would want us to have a break and we have part 2 where you take us through how it all evolved from the point where your life turned around to the point when you actually got into another family. And I want you to also kind of highlight on what happened in there as well and how you're faring. I also want you to take us through how you actually went into ministry and things like that. So be sure to watch part 2 of Hope's story, which will air definitely next week. Thank you so much. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section and let us know what you think. Please come back again. Bye-bye.